How you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bykoff, and welcome to O'Neill Speaks, the official podcast of the Paul H. O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs at Indiana University. The past 12 months at IU has seen Hoosier football enjoy success at a level never approached in the nearly 140 years Indiana has played. Head coach Curt Cignetti was hired, led his team to the first double-digit win season in IU history, and was named National Coach of the Year by several organizations. IU men's basketball saw transition as well, with new head coach Darian DeVries being hired, bringing a new excitement to the program. Women's basketball has continued its historic run of success. IU men's soccer continues to win Big Ten championships and reach the NCAA Tournament, and men's and women's swimming and diving has dominated its competition. All of this while college sports undergoes massive changes, from the transfer portal to name, image, and likeness rights, and a host of other shifts that make envisioning the future an incredible challenge. It's a good thing the IU Department of Athletics is led by an O'Neill grad. Scott Dolson has been Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics at IU since July 2020, and his management of the IU Athletic Department in our ever-evolving world has been remarkable to watch. Scott has provided a rudder during this tumultuous time, and he has set an example for all who work for him about what the idea of leading for the greater good looks like in practice. Not only have IU teams thrived on their respective fields or courts or pools, but the student athletes are given the resources needed to excel academically while pursuing their athletic dreams. In recognition of Scott's service to his community, the student athletes, and Indiana University, the O'Neill School has selected him for its 2025 Distinguished Alumni Award, the highest honor given to an O'Neill graduate. Scott is a 1988 graduate of the O'Neill School, where he earned his bachelor's degree in management while also serving as the head manager for the IU men's basketball team. He joined the staff of the IU Varsity Club in 1989, eventually rising to become director of the Varsity Club. And he became part of the IU Athletics Department as deputy director and chief operating officer in 2009. Today, we're honored to welcome Scott Dolson to O'Neill Speaks. Scott, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ken. Really appreciate it.
Now, I'm always interested in finding out why our guests ended up at the O'Neill School. Walk me through kind of your path to IU and also to how you ended up at the O'Neill School.
First of all, I was always going to attend IU. My grandfather attended IU and was here for one semester but couldn't afford to stay, and was a big IU fan, and I think he always regretted not being able to afford to stay in school. And so neither of my parents went to college, so I was really, my sister and I were first generation college graduates, and my grandfather talked to us about IU since I can remember. And then, Bob Knight and the Hoosiers were so big when I was younger. In 1976, I was 8 years old and just loved it. And so ultimately, I was coming to IU. In terms of what I was going to major in, like a lot of students who come to school, wasn't exactly sure where I was going to end up. I thought about being a high school coach at times, and I knew I wanted to be in public relations, some type of work being around people. And I learned about what was then called SPIA, which is now O'Neill, obviously for short now. But I learned about that early on in my tenure as a student, and I was really attracted to the public policy side. I was interested in potentially politics at one point, and I liked the broad education I could receive, and just really felt comfortable the more I looked into it, and that's how I ended up at SPIA.
And that's back when you had all the greenery all over the building
and
all of that.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff. I miss that.
Yeah, I do too.
I remember that when I was in school.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I did. I had a great experience at SPIA.
Do you have a favorite memory of being at the school?
I guess two things. The first thing I remember is I met so many really good friends. It was a good situation for me in terms of the people that I was around in the classroom. Did projects with, I'll give you a quick example. Brett Yormark, who is now the commissioner of the Big 12, was in several of my SPIA classes, and he and I became super close and are still close today. And so I just had a great experience with the other students. And then secondly, I distinctly remember Dr. Curt Zorn. I had Dr. Zorn, Curt now, because I got to know him as I went through my career here at IU. But Dr. Zorn then was just a phenomenal teacher, professor that, as I think back to my time at O'Neill, I just learned a lot from him, not just what he was teaching at the time, which was public finance and budgeting, but I learned a lot just how to work. And just really, that class was one that really stuck out to me as a just really important experience I had while I was a student at SPIA.
That kind of leads to my next question of how did your undergraduate work kind of prepare you for your career?
Yeah, as you said earlier, both by being a SPIA student and a SPIA graduate and also a student basketball manager, I think I learned a lot in both with both experiences. And I'd say the biggest thing was really learning how to budget my time, how to work hard, how to prepare. Certainly having what you could argue would be a full-time job while also going to SPIA, I had to really understand where my priorities were and make certain that as I said, I was prepared, whether it was for an exam, whether it was for a paper, whether it was for a presentation in school, but at the same time, as a manager doing my work there as well. So there's no question today, as we sit and I'm 59 years old and, now working for the university for this long, there's not a day that goes by I don't draw back on my experience from being a student here at IU, and particularly in SPIA, that helps me with my job today.
Well, and you reflect on the fact that you work, probably less than 2 miles from where you spend all that time in the classroom and get to use all those lessons on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I feel so lucky that I have the opportunity to work at a place that I grew up with and that I loved, as I said, as a youngster growing up in northern Indiana, to still be here, to be right down the street from, where I went to school and certainly where I lived. I kind of moved here and never left. And so as I talk to other alumni, as I see frequently at games and around the country as we travel, I feel very, very fortunate that I've been able to call IU and Bloomington my home for the biggest part of my life.
Now, athletics obviously offers a much different range of challenges than a lot of other industries. But still, I know that service is important to you. And how important is that when you're talking about trying to provide the resources and provide the structure that will allow 18 to 23-year-olds live their dreams? How do you feel about just being able to provide that service for young people?
Honestly, it's everything. I mean, I think the reason I have a job, the reason why we exist, is to provide that experience, those services to our students. And whenever I get too caught up in the business of college athletics, because it's a crazy, massive industry that we're in today. Whenever I get too caught up in the business side, all I have to do is walk into a practice or stop by after a practice or be around any of our student athletes, and it's a great reminder that our mission here is really to maximize this incredible opportunity for our students in every way, whether it's academically, personally, athletically, NIL, which is a new part of that. I say to our staff all the time, we can't lose sight of our mission, even though the business is certainly challenging and we work hard at adapting to the new world we're in. It's still all about our students, and I love that part of it.
Dealing with things like transfer portal, NIL stuff, just revenue sharing, everything that goes along with it. Obviously, you've built a career with a ton of experience, but is that any of that experience that you're working with today kind of still rooted in some of the stuff that you learned when you were at an undergrad at the O'Neill School?
It definitely is, because it goes back to just the core fundamentals of working hard, being prepared. You have limited resources. Whether it's human resources, whether it's time, it's money, budgetary resources. So really, as we embark on all these new challenges, you can look at it in a lot of different ways, and we look at it as a way. It's really an opportunity, as we're dealt these different cards, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in, different things come your way, and either you have to adapt and try to be innovative with change, or you can resist it. And I think back to my days at SPIA, just dealing with the challenges of all the different classes and the different opportunities to learn. I think I really learned to adapt at that point too. And so I've never been one that gets really negative when things change. It's like, how can we do the best we can with the cards we're dealt?
Being basketball manager obviously is a pressure-packed job. Going to school and trying to earn a degree at the same time is a pressure-packed job. Today you find yourself as director of athletics at IU in a job that a lot of people think that they know how to do or could do better, better than you. And we'll let you know about it too.
Sure.
How do you deal with that pressure of being able to do what's best for the organization and just have faith in your vision and the people around you?
That's a great question. It might sound phony. I don't mean for it to at all, but I don't really think about the pressure. I don't have the time to really think about it. I really focus on the process and the process of leading, the process of prioritizing what's important for us. And when you're in the work and you're really doing it and you're working towards common goals, the pressure of how big some of this stuff is we're dealing with and how many people, because they care, really do follow what's going to happen with Indiana basketball, or what's going to happen with, we may lose our defensive coordinator because another school's after him, and there's pressure to find the money to keep staff. All that stuff, the pressure of just now the new world of NIL, I just don't take the time to really dwell on the larger aspect of the impact of the things we do, and I focus on the process a lot. And that's candidly why Coach Sig and I, from the beginning, I just really got along great with him. He's a real process person. And
right.
Darren's a real process person. Terry Morin is. And I think if you really focus on the process and the kind of make certain what does success look like, and you head towards that goal, the pressure just is something that can be a distraction. You just need to focus on what your job is.
What are you most proud of that you've accomplished to this point in your career?
I would say I don't do a lot of reflecting. I don't because I'm always kind of looking ahead, I guess. But I think I'm really proud of the student athletes. As a student athlete comes back, and I see them a lot, they'll come back for different games. I'm really proud that I've been here at a time when we've had great success over the years, both ways that are visible to people and ways that people probably wouldn't realize. And whether it's seeing someone who is now married and has kids and comes back for a football game and comes up to me and just says, man, these are my kids, and I had such a great experience at IU. It was the greatest experience of my life. Those are the things that I'm really proud of, because I think in spite of all the changes in college athletics, all the pressure to win and all those things, I think we've been able to keep balanced and still do the things that I think our alumni and fans and friends are most proud of, and that's try to just do things the right way to create a better experience, a better life for our students who come through here. And I'm really proud that we've kept that balance.
That's kind of a unique situation for you. If you a lot of people bounce around to different places, but you've been here for a long time. I have to, but seeing guys come in on recruiting visits, and they're 17, 18 years old, and then seeing them come along, develop, and now we see them and they're in their 30s, some of them in their 40s, and to have families. It's got to be really rewarding to see that and be able to just remember that you helped some of that development happen for those guys.
It really is. It is rare in the industry to be at one school for your entire career, and I've had that fortunate opportunity to do that. And as you said, it is super interesting that I can remember meeting a student athlete as a freshman or on the recruiting visit,
right.
And then 15 years later, here they are, and you see what they've done with their life, and you feel really proud about that. That just like IU impacted me, and I'm sure it impacted you. I want to make certain we do that for others, and that's kind of why we're here. And so I take a lot of pride in that. And when I meet with recruits, which I love doing, I don't feel like I'm giving them a sales pitch or
right.
I feel like I'm authentically saying, if you choose to come here, it's going to be hard. It's hard work. It's hard work in the classroom. It's hard work in athletic competition. But at the same time, you're going to have people who really, really care about you. And I think we can develop you and make your life better if you just are able to be a part of what we're doing here. So I really am proud of that.
What does it mean to you personally to be recognized with the Distinguished Alumni Award?
Yeah, first of all, it does sound like I'm old. It makes me feel a little old, but I'm certainly honored. I feel like that I'm humbly accept it, but feel like that I've just got a long way to go. I feel like even though I've worked here a long time and been a proud alumnus for a long time, I feel like that, it just is something that I feel like I want to continue to strive to be worthy of that title, and I feel like I want to try to prove myself every day. So I'm honored to be recognized and to be join so many successful people that have come out of O'Neill, but I feel like I've got a long way to go to meet a lot of the standards that have been set by people before me. So I look at it as a challenge to make sure I want at some point O'Neill to look back and the faculty and people, if I'm on a list of someone who received this award, that I've continued to earn it as we move forward, not just for the past.
You talked about looking forward and how important it is to you. What is your vision for moving forward? What more do you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I want to make sure that particularly in this transformative time, that when at some point when things, which I hope it does, but at some point when things do settle down, when college athletics gets back into a rhythm, that IU athletics has come out better than it was when it went into this transformative time. Mm-hmm. And it's a big challenge for us, and it's something that we think about every day, that I think athletics is super important to the entire university, to the entire community, to the state here at IU, and I take it very seriously that I want to make certain that when my time's here done, that we've left it in a place that whoever are the next members of staff, coaches, student athletes that are here find it in a better place than it was, just like I'm sure when I started here it was better than it had been prior to that. Right. And so particularly given this transformative time, we have to do all we can to ensure that we're doing that. And I don't want IU athletics to go backwards. I always want it to be going forwards.
What advice would you have for students who are thinking about coming to IU and specifically to the O'Neill School? If you got a chance to talk to them, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that don't miss that opportunity. Don't if you have a chance to be a part of the O'Neill School, be a part of this incredible university, that to jump on it. And your experience at O'Neill will be so well-rounded. It'll prepare you for all aspects of different careers, whatever your path ends up being. But at the same time, you'll be around great people. And I think at the end of the day, it's all about people. And our campus is arguably the most beautiful campus. You can be whoever you want here at IU. You can be, there's lots of different social opportunities. It's a melting pot. But I think if you said, what's the biggest takeaway from me, it's the people. It's the people at O'Neill. It's the people at this university that really care and that can make a difference in your life if you let them do that and if you embrace all about being an IU student.
Well, Scott, you've had a remarkable career to this point. We can't wait to see what you accomplish next. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on earning the Distinguished Alumni Award.
Well, thank you for having me. And again, I'm extremely proud to say that I'm an O'Neill graduate, and I just hope that in the future we can continue to do great things for this university. So thank you.
Well, that's all the time we have today on O'Neill Speaks. O'Neill Speaks is the official podcast of the Paul H. O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs. All opinions and comments on O'Neill Speaks belong to the host and the guest of the O'Neill School and don't necessarily reflect those of the school itself. Music for O'Neill Speaks is by Manos Mars. Be sure to subscribe to O'Neill Speaks on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcatcher app so you don't miss an episode. We're out of time, but for now, and for the O'Neill School, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody.